All right, students, so this video is going to show you how to calculate confidence intervals in Excel. And then I'm also going to show you how to break down the confidence interval by a different variable. So what I mean by that, let's just say I wanted to look at the mean TV hours, and then I want to construct a confidence interval around the mean TV hours for our sample. But then let's just say I wanted to know whether or not liberals are less likely to watch TV than conservatives are. Okay, so I can break that down by political views. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So the first thing that we need to do is find the variable TV hours. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open up a new sheet. I'm going to paste that information here. Then I also need to go get the variable Paul views, which is over here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to place it on this new sheet as well. Okay, so now that I have these, one thing I also need to do is come over to this column, and I need to get rid of the missing variables. So what I need to do is I'm going to come over here, press Control F, and then so I'm going to replace the missing variables. So I need to replace the missing variables with just nothing. That's going to leave it blank. But I need to see what numbers represent missing variables. So I'm going to come over to the code book. And I see that -1 is the missing. And then 98 and 99 are also missing for the variable TV hours. So what I need to do, come back to this data set, and I need to take -1. I'm going to replace it with nothing. See, I think there's also 98 and 99, which I'm not 100% sure if there's any 98s or 99s there, but we'll give it a shot. 2 and then 99. Okay, so we've replaced all the missing variables. Now what we need to do is come over to data analysis. And then so we come over to data analysis, and then we hit descriptive statistics. We want the summary statistics because we want the mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and all that stuff. But we're also going to click on confidence interval, and this allows me to choose 90, 95 if I want, or 99, but I'm just going to leave it at 95% to show you how to do this. Then we need to get our input range, so I'm going to click this, and I'm going to copy all this, everything except for TV hours, the main TV hours. Try to get 1,500 respondents. So that'll be my input range, and I'm going to put my output range is basically just where I want this to go, which I'm just going to put it about here. Press OK. And then here I have the mean number of TV hours watched per day for the General Social Survey. And here's the confidence interval. So what it does, it gives you this number 0.18. So what you would do with that number is you would take that number 0.18, you would add it to 2.97, and you get the upper bound of the confidence interval. Then what you do is you take this 2.97 and you subtract it by 0.18, and then you would get the lower bound of the confidence interval. Okay, so that's how you go about calculating the confidence interval if you have, if you're using the variable TV hours. Now, in order to break this down by political views to see whether or not conservatives watch more TV than liberals, or whether or not liberals watch more TV than conservatives, what you would need to do is you then need to sort the data. So what I'm going to do first off is to jump over to Paul views, and I'm going to remove the missing data. So I'm going to press Control F. And then I need to find which numbers are missing values. So 0 is a missing value, but there's none there, so I can just don't have to worry about that. 8 and then 9 are both missing values, so I'm going to replace those with nothing. So take 8. I'm going to put 8 here, then just replace it with nothing. Then I'll press 9, and I'm also going to replace it with nothing. Okay, so now I have all the missing data taken out. So what I need to do now is to copy these two, And I need to come up here to this sort. So I'm going to press sort. And then it's going to let me sort by, and I want to sort by political views. So I'm going to come over here, click sort by political views. I'm going to use values. Then I'm going to use smallest to largest. So I'm going to press OK. Okay, so now it's altered the data to where everybody who said I'm one respondent, which one corresponds to something, right? Everybody who's one is here, then everybody who's two is here. So what is one? So we need to, again, look at the code book to find out what one represents. One is those people who were marked as one are people who identified as being extremely liberal. Okay, so what we would do here, now that we know that one is extremely liberal, two is liberal, and so on and so forth, is we calculate another 95% confidence level to just for everybody who identified as one as being extremely liberal. So what I'd do is I'd come back over here, I'd come back to data analysis, descriptive statistics. Again, I still want a 95% confidence interval with the summary statistics, but I'm going to erase the current input range. And then my new input range is going to be here. So I'm going to look at TV hours, but just for people who identified as one. So I'm just going to be looking at it for people who are extremely liberal. Okay, so once I get to the twos, I'm going to stop. And then, so that'll be my input range. And then my output range, I basically just need to find a new cell to put this information in. So I'll just put it right here. 95% confidence level, press OK. All right, so this is the 95% confidence level for people who are extremely liberal. Okay, so that's how I know that I'm looking at the 95% confidence level for people who are extremely liberal. And obviously, this is the 95% confidence level for everybody. Okay, so now basically in order to compare like the extremely liberals versus the liberals versus the people who are conservative, I could go to the code book and I'm like, let's just say I'm looking for extremely conservative. I know that that's everybody who's been identified as number 7. So the way I would do this comparison, I would scroll down to find everybody who's been identified as number 7. Okay, so these people all identified as being 7. And then these are probably just missing values here. So what we do here is we come back to data analysis, descriptive statistics, get rid of this, and we're going to try to find everybody who's identified as 7. So we start here with the TV hours and scroll down to where we got all the 7s. So we got all the 7s. That'll be my new input. Then my new output, I'm going to put this right below this, which is 95% for extremely liberal. I'm going to press OK. So this is the 95% confidence level for extremely conservative. Okay. Now, like I said, you could actually break that down by not just extremely liberal, extremely conservative. You could do extreme liberal, liberal, slightly liberal, moderate, slightly conservative, conservative, and extremely conservative. I just don't want to do all that because I'm just showing you all how to do this, but that's essentially how you would go about doing that process. It's somewhat tedious and cumbersome, but if you're using Excel, this is really the only way to go about doing that.